too. We say Happy Father's Day from my family to yours. Um, I haven't done a video in a while on my part, neither me or my girl, because I have been busy with stuff, and so has she. We apologize for that. Um, in the midst of a lot that has happened, also, from now on, before I do a video, I'm gonna make sure I have a haircut because I know in the past I look like a caveman. As I get older and I think about it, it is important for me to keep all this up because I got a haircut recently. I like this haircut, so I'm gonna get this from now on more consistently. And so I'm presentable for when I do stuff like this. But the um the discussion of this video, I'm gonna start doing stories with y'all on certain occasions for stuff like this because Father's Day is a story for every father. Every father has their own story that leads them up to this point. Most fathers, almost every father's story is different in some type of way. There's not too many people who are similar in the world in terms of how they became a father and the path it took for them to become one. But still, it's always good to hear someone's story so that if you are a father, you might learn something new, or if you're about to become one, you learn something that you can use later or right away. And I feel I have a unique-ish type of story into becoming a father. So I'll tell y'all a summary of it to an extent. Starting with obviously when I was 18, because it took me a few years to become one. I'm 22 now. My girl is 19. Obviously, y'all have this channel. Y'all have been with us since we first got together.
The beginning of our relationship.
And most of y'all already know at this point, it was real because I got a lot of flack in the beginning from a lot of people for me being 18 and my girl being 15 when I first got with her. It's a 3-year difference. Y'all already know that. I understood the flack at the time in the beginning for it because a lot of people stereotype me into thinking, oh, he's too old for one, and he's just going to get this one thing, then he's going to go. I can understand a lot of people's stereotypicals if I actually was like that. And it's sad that the world for black men are like that. Because you hear more about cheating on our side than you do on the other side. And that's a shame. That's something I try to keep in mind when I'm going about how I do things in my life to carry myself with class, because I don't like being categorized in the stereotypical mindset that most people have for black men. And starting from when I came here, or when I left here, obviously, when I was 18, I was still in the midst of my rebellion. My rebellion started when I was 16, when my dad left. From the ages of 16 to 18, I was doing a lot of classes. When I was 16, against my character, because up to that point, I considered myself, my teenagehood, as I was a very respectable child and very respectable to adults and most people that come around me, very kind, the generic type of person. Christian lifestyle, stuff like that. When I turned 16, I was 15 in my 15 year. We moved out here in 2014, back to where I was originally from, in Texas. And leading up to that point, my dad had a stroke from overworking too much because he was trying to do something for my mom. And when he had his stroke, my dad's a stroke patient. He's a stroke and seizure patient. He had been having them before I was born. But the one he had when I was 15 was a major one, and it caused damage to his brain, massive damage to his brain, and it changed certain parts of him that most people know him for, and that's what I had to deal with. So when we was coming back to Texas in 2014, my mom thought it would be a good idea to go around family to help his rehabilitation. Should be a good idea, naturally, most of the time, and it was, if things went how it was supposed to go, but it didn't. When we got out here, I had some manipulative family members that decided or one specifically. I had one auntie of mine that decided to poison, because you know when you're a stroke patient, you have a massive one. In your recovery stage, you can be easily influenced depending on the severity of the stroke. Now, when my dad had his minor ones, he came back to how he used to be every single time. But once he had his massive one, there was a window of, I guess you could say, control. And in that window of control, my auntie decided to manipulate my father's head, putting lies in his head that weren't even true, that we were doing, me and my mom were doing so many things to my dad that we wouldn't do to him, because he was trying to take care of us, and my mom was pulling her weight. But in his weakened state, he listened, and she had been building it up for a while until we left. By the time we got to Texas, my dad left us in before Christmas in 2014. The day he left, it changed my life, because I watched him walk out the house and get into my auntie's car, and then I never saw him again for about 5 years. In that span of those 5 years, he didn't come back till I was 20, right when I had my son. So in that span, that's when I entered my rebellion. I was talking disrespectful to adults, authority. You know, I was partially aggressive to the point to where I wanted to do my own thing with a lot of people, my mom included. I put my mom through hell. A lot of hell that I normally wouldn't. And I'm a mama's boy. She's my favorite. You know, she's my OG. She's not a quitter. All the hell I put my mom through. I was disobedient to her, disrespectful. The whole shebang. I had to get put in counseling on multiple occasions because my mom knew where, you know, this new attitude was coming from, but she didn't know how to exactly reproach it, because there's only so many things a mother can teach a son when you need your father growing up in that time period. And she did her best, but my whole philosophy during my rebellion was I miss my dad. And I tried to talk to him on multiple occasions when he was gone, but his sister got in the way. And when I did talk to him, he was still in his manipulative state. So eventually I started losing hope on talking to him in general. And on all the birthdays I had up to that point, my 18th birthday hurt me the most, because I turned into an adult without my dad. I have 4 siblings. All my siblings got to see my mom and my dad on their 18th. That hurt me a lot. And right around the time when I had turned 18, when my birthday had passed, that's when I knew I was leaving from Texas and starting my path to where I'm at now. When I first left, it was a crazy ride. I was getting Social Security from my dad because of his injury. I decided to take some of the money I was getting, buy me a ticket, and go to where my girl was. Against better judgment, I did that wrong. The entire thing I did with that was wrong, because I thought I was grown. I missed out on a lot that I had to come back to now, and I'll discuss that later. But I went out there thinking I was grown. My mom called me asking me when I was supposed to only be out there for 4 days, what's going on, why you're not coming back? I told her I'm not coming back. She got mad at me, she yelled at me. I said I need to stay out here. This is where I need to be for now. Hung up the phone, click, ripped up my ticket, and that was it. Going on to the span though, what happened with that? My four years out in Georgia, where I was at, was very life-changing before I became a father, because everything that happened to me helped me when I did become one. And the first year I was out there, things was okay. The second year, you know, things were okay. It was decent. At the end of the second, going into the third, that's when stuff started hitting me that shouldn't have been hitting me. Where when I first came out to where my girl was at, obviously I had a lot of stereotypes coming at me, because my girl in the church she was at, they known her since she was a kid. I had a church out that I came from that was just like that, but they weren't overprotective with me to the point to where it made it seem like I couldn't get nobody. And when I went to my girl's church, it was a crap ton of people stereotyping me. Multiple people texting me, telling me, you better not do this, you better not do that. Multiple people trying to be nosy. For no reason. They didn't even know me very well, but they thought they needed to do this and this and this. Problem 1. Problem 2 were we lived at, because we lived on federal installation on post. I had a friend who was my girl's cousin, and I didn't find that out until 10 years later, that liked me when I asked her out. But she didn't tell me she liked me. That caused friction over time because she thought she was more important than me to my girl, causing me to check her a couple of times, and then she got mad, and she created a whole lot of drama that shouldn't have been there in the midst of that. Third year we go into it, we're still on post. I met a couple of kids, not kids, high schoolers, that were, they were young and stupid. That's how I look at them. They were young and stupid. One of them decided to start talking to me one day when I was on post, playing basketball. He got cool with me, or so I thought, in the summer. When the boy found out, his name was Willie. He's the boy that's on this channel in the Stop Bullying video. He thought that it was cool for him to go mess with some kids that went to his school that he was going to be going to, because he wasn't from out there. He's from Milwaukee. And those kids were bad. As soon as he started hanging out with them, they all started doing crazy stuff. They was in trouble for smoking weed on post. They got involved with a rape scenario on post. And one of the boys even had sex in another woman's house that I knew without permission. He wasn't even supposed to be in there. And all those boys didn't like me, because I had a rule at the time. If you hang out with me and you're younger than me, that means if you're not 18, that means you're a kid technically. If you're a kid, I have to protect myself by telling on you if you do something that's going to get me in trouble, realistically. Because if you're hanging out with me like that, I can't just walk away from you, because you're still going to keep coming around. So to set the message, because it took me setting a message, I had to tell on a couple of people. I left a bad taste in their mouths. But I also told them, if you're looking for a friend, real friends ain't going to let you do something stupid that's going to get yourself in trouble, or do something to jeopardize y'all both getting in trouble. They just know how to keep their heads out of their behinds and keep moving forward, keep them clean. The people I was around didn't know how to do that. So when I started telling, it led all the way up to the fight that y'all, or the almost fight that y'all saw with Willie threatening to hit me, because obviously the people I told on, they was salty. So they decided to lie on my name to him. He hated people that had his name in his mouth. I never wasn't speaking bad about him though the entire time. But the people who was his friends he was around was lying and saying I was. Mixed with the adult man you saw in the video earlier that said you was talking about my daughter. That man was another person who had a problem, because playing basketball at the same court. I was just playing, sat down, daughter sitting right next to me, told his daughter, I got a girl, I'm not flirting with you. And I started talking to her, and I told her, I was asking her what she planned to do with her life, general questions, nothing pertaining to dating. The dad went overboard thinking he trying to hit on my kid. And I made it clear to him multiple times, that's not what I'm doing, sir. He even saw my girl. It still accumulated, though, to the point to where, because kids kept lying to him, and this is a very immature 40-some-year-old man who listens to kids and befriends kids, it accumulated up to where he swung at me, I almost stabbed him. Something I had never done before in my life, because I was playing basketball with my friends, a couple of my friends. He just came out, you was talking about my daughter, just yelling. We didn't even know who he was yelling about. Just swings at me. I tried to run away from him, telling him, I don't know what you're talking about. Just chill, man. Let's talk. He didn't want to talk. So me in my defensive mode, I pulled some knives on him. By the grace of God, I did not stab him, because I was close to doing it, because I had a friend grab me before I was able to do that. Like I said, this was against my character at the time, because I was in my adultish rebellion in the beginning, doing stuff on my own. After that incident, I told on myself and him, because I had to go to the cops. You're an adult. You got to go tell the cops something like that, because I was getting harassed. I told the cops what I did. They didn't arrest me. You would think they'd take record of it. They didn't do neither. So eventually, the man kept messing with me. His kid kept messing with me, all the way up to the time where we moved off of post. Before I left post, close to when I left Georgia, I got hit in the jaw by his daughter setting up something, because I told another girl who was a friend of my girl's that she had no business trying to tell my girl what to do, because she didn't have a kid. Because the girl had said at one point she couldn't have kids. So I was just repeating what she said, but she got offended by me saying that. and told the 40-year-old's daughter, who liked to fight everyone. So the 40-year-old's daughter decided, her name was Taya. She decided, I'm going to set up a scheme where I call Sonic out there to make him think everything is cool. Because I went to the court the night I got hit. I was going to talk to another boy who wanted to talk to me. I didn't know when I went to the court. The cops had told me not to go to the court. That was my mistake too on that part. But me at the time, I was thinking, you got to pass through the court to get to the boy's house. So I had to go through the court. I didn't know that when I was passing through, that there was a trap waiting for me. And by the time I did figure it out, where the girl was down, Tay was in a hoodie. I didn't know it was her because I really wasn't paying attention to her. I was just down there to talk and then go back home. By the time I was ready to leave, there was some boys that had asked me, the boys she had called down there to try to jump me. They started asking me all sorts of questions about what happened with her dad. I told them, and he was crazy. He overreacted about a lot of stuff that wasn't even true. Listened to so many people that instead of coming to talk to me and ask me about it, he just took their side, and he's supposed to be an adult. Apparently, Tay didn't like me telling the truth to the boys. So before I left, she pulled her hoodie down, said, "You talking about my dad again, huh?" I didn't freeze. I just started walking backwards. And I shout out to RDC for this, because at the time I didn't know signs of, when a fight is about to happen. As I was backing up, I had this dude who I had played basketball with in the past just pacing behind me. And right as I was backing up, he stuck me in my jaw. He didn't knock me out. I just went just like that. From where he hit me, my head just moved. And then I turned back slowly, and I told him, I started laughing. I said, "Is that all you got?" Realistically, I said after that, "Let me call the cops, because y'all not finna jump me tonight." After that, the cops got involved. They didn't do nothing but yell at me, because they said, "You shouldn't have been at the court." I said, I acknowledge that, but I was just going to talk to a friend. That's no excuse. But the same person that I have been telling y'all about, the man and his daughter, I had made 7 police reports about them on a military federal installation. Nothing happened. Anybody in the military that tries to go to Fort Gordon thinking and you have problems with cops, don't take it to the cops on that post, because they don't care. I got harassed 7 different times. I told the cops on that post I could have been killed, and then y'all really would have been in trouble. They didn't care. I got yelled at the night I got hit because I was yelling back at a cop that was supposed to be cool with us, because he didn't like how I was talking to him, because I told him, y'all need to do y'all damn job. I got hit because y'all didn't listen to me. I made 7 police reports. Y'all didn't take neither one of them into consideration, and they were all harassment. He didn't care. He said, "You better just lower your voice," and my girl was sitting right there. He didn't start calming down until my father-in-law talked to him, pulled me to the side and said to chill. He left, told me, "You're a good kid. I don't want to see you get in trouble." I didn't want to hear that, because that didn't change the fact my jaw was swollen because I got hit and I got harassed for the last time, and then I got banned from the court after that. I like playing basketball. That ended that chapter of me being on post. We leave post. We're going to the next phase. I'm 19 going on 20, I think, yeah. We in year 3. And it's 2018 going on 2019. My girl gets pregnant. Okay, everything is straight all the way up to that point. We have my son. The phase that starts trickling, because I'm a new father. When I have my son. There's no manual about how to be a parent. I don't care what the world got out there to try to help you. There's things that can help, yeah. But being a parent, especially being a father, because you're the leader of your home. You're the structure of your home. When you're not there, everything falls apart. When my dad left, everything he had built fell apart. Me and my mom struggled. Perfect example. If I was to leave my family, they would struggle, because the man is supposed to take care of his family. Period. Knowing all I had when I first became a father was the morals my parents had taught me, and my dad at his best that he had taught me on how to be a father. I bring my son. We bring our son home from the hospital. I guess I don't know what I was doing the night it happened, but I was just chilling. And my mother-in-law decides to walk up to me one day. She's mad. She just comes into our room one day. We're trying to bring our son into the room and tells us, Shad has to prove to me he can be a father before Casanova sleeps in the room with y'all. Problem one that we had. I had a list of problems I've had with my mother-in-law since up to this point. That was the first problem. Obviously, I got defensive. Okay, we go to the next problem. I like to play games. Y'all know that. Playing games one day. I believe as an adult, I'd rather play games than be outside fooling around and get wrapped around in something that can get me into trouble outside, like drugs or whatever. Comes into the room one day, tells my wife, or my fiance at the time, you play games too much. Tripping about it. You need to do more with your son. New father. That's my hobby. I'm still getting used to that. Move to the next problem. I think the next problem was when we were at the new place we were living at with them. My son was cranky one night. Extremely cranky, and we knew it, me and my girl, so we decided to get him fed, try to get him to bed. My mother-in-law, who wanted to read him a story at the time, said, let me read him a story before he goes to bed. Me and my girl both told her, nah, he's really tired, he needs to just go straight to bed, because he was really cranky, and he was getting there. It was getting worse by the second. My mother-in-law decides to throw a hissy fit, because me and my girl both told her no. She starts tripping. I go upstairs with my son. She talks to my girl, complains to my girl comes back and tells me. I say, okay, I don't care. I said what I said. We said what we said. Next problem. Final problem. At least physically while we was there. My mother-in-law decides one day that I was creating a problem that really wasn't created by me, to the point to where she threatens to kick us out. That video, I don't have the full video because I started recording late, so I'm not going to post that. I've had that on my phone for a while. I'm not going to post that. So, she threatens to kick us out. My mother-in-law has told my girl on multiple occasions she would never kick her children out. But when she gets mad, all her reasoning goes out the window. And I'm a firm believer as an adult, just because you're mad, that don't give you an excuse to just say what you want to say. It don't matter. If you know it's going to be extremely hurtful, take some self-control classes, go to counseling, check yourself. Prime example of that. My girl almost left me in the first day we got together because I had a temper problem. All the stuff I was dealing with in Texas, I had a huge anger problem. And it caused me to lash out at her on different occasions when it had nothing to do with her. And she told me one day, I'm going to leave you if you don't get this under control. I had to start praying. It took me a while to pray. It took me a lot of prayer. A lot. I got it under control. We were still together. My mother-in-law didn't care. This wasn't the first time she said something out of anger, too. It got so bad to the point to where she came up the steps. She can barely walk. Came up the steps. Opened the door just to tell me, you see what you do? Looking at me like, with my son in my hand. My son was crying because he didn't want to hear all the yelling. I look at her and I say, you see what I do? I was just chilling. Because when I stayed with my in-laws, I stayed in the room most of the time. Only people I like being bothered by was my girl and my son, because I like my space. If I don't know you or like you like that, I don't want you in my space. So I'm gonna distance myself from you. My mother-in-law was the type where she wanted attention, so one of the rules she had in her house was you must hug her when you wake up in the morning, or at some point at least twice a day. I said that was stupid. I complied with it because I was in their house, but towards the end of the tenure, I said that's retarded. I told her, I'll tell at a later point, I told her I don't understand that rule. The other rule was you got to come downstairs and socialize with family, eat together with family. I like my space. Didn't like doing that either. I told her that. She didn't care. All that accumulated into the argument to where she threatened to kick us out. And it took my girl breaking down to tell her, you promised you wouldn't do this, to where she woke up out of her hissy fit and said, I'm sorry. But by that point, the damage was done already. You broke a promise. Parents should not make promises they plan to break to their kids. That's a very important rule as a parent. In-law didn't care. we got past that, we almost had to go to my brother-in-law's house because it was that close to it being bad. We left. You know, we left, got out of that. After that, okay, we end up moving. I would think when I moved back out here, you know, things would settle down because you know it's been 2 years into being a father, finna be 3 now. Recently, as I told y'all, I was trying to go in the military. Still going for it. I ran into a lot of brick walls with that, obstacles, because recently I found out my mother-in-law, starting with the stimulus stuff, my mother-in-law, because she liked to be in control of stuff, we were supposed to get a certain amount of money. We didn't get it because she put it in her emergency stuff, her emergency fundings. We had discussed getting said money from stimulus before we left. She took it upon herself to do what she wanted to do and tweak the rules, and it caused us to not get our money still to this day. And then on the same note of that, me trying to get in the military, I needed a diploma or some type of transcript. They told me recently, or a GED. I thought I had the diploma. Diploma said, my recruiter said it looks fake. Okay, so I tried to get my transcripts. I asked my girl to ask my mother-in-law, can you get my transcripts? Find out she deleted them. And the way the homeschooling program I was in works, if the user deletes them, you cannot get your records back. My mother-in-law did that without permission. She did it when I finished and didn't even say anything. Put it on the flash drive, lost the flash drive. So now I'm in the boat where I got to get my GED and take longer to get in the military. All the stuff up to this point that we went through, or that I went through father-wise, all of this made me a better father because when I was 18, I was stupid. I was stupid beyond compare. It took me going through a lot of the stuff I went through in Georgia to humble myself and to finally start listening to God and come back and listen to my mom. My mom was trying to help me the entire time I was in my rebellion, but she told me, you want to run your head into the wall, I'm going to let you do it. She wasn't going to chase me. It took me coming to my senses to figure out I need my mom's help. I'm 22. My life still hasn't started yet. I got a family. My life still hasn't started yet. Most people my age that are black like me, I assume their lives are already started. They already got some form of stability. I don't have that yet. I'm still learning how to be, a man. I'm a young man right now. I'm not a man yet because I can't do stuff on my own yet. And it took me turning 18, going through what I went through from 18 to 20 to really figure that out. And then I'm 2 years into being a father. And, I'm about to get a job with my family. I have to go get my GED. I can't pout about it. It makes me angry every time I think about it because I believe I was too smart to get that. But I have to do what I have to do. And Lord willing, soon I'll be in the military. Because the biggest stage for me now is to be able to get to where I can say, through God, I can take care of my family through my own power. That's all I want. I used to be selfish. A lot of the stuff you would expect of, a kid, even with my girl and my son in the beginning. My first year of being a father was very tricky because I was really trying to learn what I could do and what I couldn't do. And my in-law did not make it easy on me because she was trying to tell me what to do. I already knew what to do, trying to tell my wife what to do. So it caused me to have, spurts of angry moments where I was doing stuff I shouldn't have been doing in a sense that was, what we wouldn't normally do as parents. But I say all that to say, now as a 22-year-old, finna be 23 soon, fathers in the world, lesson 1 for one, whoever you decide to have the child with, that you having a child with, please stay with that person. Don't waste your time sleeping around, hoeing around. It's not gonna do you no good because nobody likes child support. I don't care what you say. If you gonna put yourself in the boat to do that, you might as well work with whoever you gotta work with to fix whatever problems you gotta fix on your end and theirs and make it work if possible. Don't be the reason, fathers, why you fall out in your relationship, if that's the case. If it's the woman's fault why y'all fall out, deal with it accordingly with that. That's how I am. I'm never going to cheat. I pray about that every day. I'm never going to do something to jeopardize my relationship to the point to where my integrity has to be questioned. And I told my wife already, if I do, and there's proof of it, I will own up to my mistakes, starting with, if I ever am accused of cheating and the truth comes out where that's the truth, I'm paying child support. I'm not going to disregard it. It's going to be my fault. I have to own up to it. Period. With my wife going to wherever she wants to go to. I can't say nothing about it. It's not going to do me no good. Because it would be my fault. Vice versa goes on her end too. If she ever cheats and the proof comes out that she actually did it, it's the same thing that happens to her. She can't complain, can't do nothing. We going separate ways. I don't believe in divorce, but I just separate. I cheat, my son goes with her. She cheats, my son comes with me. That's how it goes, because both of us have agreed we don't need that type of example in our child's lives. We don't. Especially not while he's this young. He's still growing. Number 2, we are tasked with a great responsibility. Every father is. Now, because I'm a Christian, and I'm thorough in my relationship with God, the Bible tells us we are responsible for being the leaders of our family. We are the structure. Like I said, we fall, our family falls. We have a grave and great bit of responsibility in leading our families. I tell my wife all the time, most of the time with stuff, if I don't do it, you shouldn't do it. When it comes to stuff that defines our testimony and our characters, because that's what I'm teaching my son. I don't want my son to grow up thinking it's cool to do certain things that he doesn't see his father or his mother doing, because then we're going to know you're being a follower. And our job is to train him until he's 18. Then when he's 18, we can just tell him, okay, you know what you was raised on, you know what you got to do. Go into the world and do what you're supposed to do. You get in trouble, it's on you. It's not on us, because we did our part by that time. We support you as long as you do what you're supposed to do, but you get in trouble out there and you know you wasn't supposed to be doing something, that's on you. But it's the same with the rest of our kids. Be a leader. Stay with the one that you chose to have the child with. Get married. A lot of my stereotypical stuff that came at me was because people assume one night stand, I'm not getting married. It took me 5 years to get married to my girl. 5. I don't believe in rushing things, because I had dated 14 girls up to that point. I missed the only other girl I could have married. I missed out because we stopped talking. So I get to the 14th or the 15th, and my girl, I had a lot of standards up to that point I had learned from, that I said, this is what I'm looking for now. My girl passed them. It took her about 2 years to show me she was legit, because I had been hurt early by all the other girls in early times. So she passed. It took me 3 more additional years to figure out I needed my parents' help to, get my rings, get her ring, and then make it official. Now I'm not looking back. The only way I can say something separating me from my wife is death. But that's it. It's the same with me. But even then, your spirit is still up there. I would hope most of y'all out there are Christians, so y'all can go to heaven. So at least if you die, your spouse knows they can come see you if they right too. That's all I can really say with it. Father's Day should be a proud day for all the real fathers. I can't stand fake ones, so I don't really care about the fake ones. But to all you real fathers out there that are there for your kid, you plan to marry a girl to make it extend longer, and are being proper leaders to your kids, keep doing what you're doing, keep growing, keep learning, keep adding on to your arsenal to become a better man and a father. That's my message to y'all. I hope y'all have a good day. I hope y'all learned something out of this video from whatever I've said. Whatever you choose to pick, please leave comments down below. if you have any questions, and I will answer them. And have a good day.